So today we have to talk about a potential conundrum revolving around a cruise line that is one of the largest in the world, however, isn't exactly all over the media like you would see with the likes of Carnival, Royal Caribbean, or even the mafia shipping company MSC. I'm talking about Norwegian Cruise Line, NCL, aka my former employer, as many are saying that NCL is going downhill. They're not doing too hot, and Norwegian has had their issues, there is no doubt about it, but lately we've seen things aside from the CEO Frank Del Rio being out as of a couple months ago. We're seeing they are cutting back shows and they're canceling itineraries, and a lot of people are saying that their entertainment has been cut down by at least 40%. Now, is this an indication that NCL isn't doing so hot? Maybe. However, we are going to dive into this in today's video and, well, so much more. By the way, just a quick update. Later on today at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, I'll be putting out my time. As many of you know, I just got off Carnival's new Italian-style cruise ship, the Carnival Venezia. That one is going to be one for the book, so make sure you guys stick around. 6 p.m. Eastern Time. So about a week ago, Norwegian Cruise Line made an announcement and sent out some letters stating that some of their premiere shows on board a few of their ships, like of course Six the Musical, a crowd favorite, a lot of people like that show, Footloose, and World Beat will be discontinuing on board some of their ships. Now, while this is, of course, sad for not only Norwegian Cruise Line, as well as the crew and performers that do participate in that show and perform in that show, giving you guys an exciting and an unforgettable experience, I look at this from a couple different angles. As somebody that has not only worked for Norwegian, I've worked for cruise lines, I've worked for touring companies, as many of you know. Here's the deal. Like I said, as of earlier this year, March to be specific, we saw the CEO of Norwegian Cruise Line, Frank Del Rio. A lot of people don't exactly know what happened, but he was ousted, or he was fired, or he decided to step down and walk away from Norwegian as their CEO. Meaning there are understandably going to be a lot of changes that are going to inevitably take place. And I would always say whenever something like a company, whether it be a cruise line or a theme park or a tour, whenever they are reorganizing or there are, well, unfortunately, potential budget cuts, the first thing to go, unfortunately, is entertainment. And when that happens, you'll see things such as this. Now, I do not know personally what exactly is going on as far as, well, the bottom line for Norwegian Cruise Line. But as of right now, the cruise industry is booming. There is no doubt about it. About 2 months ago, I did sail on board the Norwegian Joy. I had an amazing time. The ship was absolutely packed, and well, it was just an unforgettable experience. However, if you line it up with the other lines when it comes to Norwegian, I would say that these days, whether you guys agree with me or not, I don't think NCL has that thing that really separates them from everybody else, aside from the entertainment. What I mean by this is, if you look at Virgin, what's their gag? They have the adult-only cruise line. You look at Royal Caribbean, well, you could argue they do have, yes, of course, the largest ships in the world. They have that suburban mall kind of vibe, but they also have the features that when you get on board a lot of their ships, especially the newer ones, and let's not even talk about Icon of the Seas, you'll get on board and you say, wow, they put that on a cruise ship. I'm talking about iFly, the skydiving simulator. Of course, they have a surfing simulator, bumper cars, all these unimaginable things. And I would argue that, for me personally, I do believe that when it comes to the entertainment, yes, both Celebrity and Royal Caribbean, in my personal opinion, have without a doubt the best shows in general. But NCL is in kind of like a category of their own, seeing as they do premiere a lot of Broadway shows. Of course, we know they do have Priscilla, they have Six the Musical, they have Footloose, they have all of these amazing shows. After Midnight, the show that I was in, but I would imagine trying to get a contract to essentially lease those shows can get quite expensive. They do these deals, for example, when I did After Midnight, there was a 5-year 10-cast deal. So every year they would do 2 different casts. I believe I was like 7 or 8 or something like that whenever I worked on board the Norwegian Escape. But as you could imagine, those things are going to cost a lot of guap, a lot of moolah, money. Originally, way back when, before my time on board cruise ships, NCL was the pioneer, the innovator of what we would call freestyle cruising, in which you could essentially do whatever you want. You don't have to sit there and plan and schedule every single aspect of your cruise. There were options, many of which you could just kind of walk into, whether it be a dining option, an entertainment option. You don't have to schedule all of it out, and that definitely revolutionized and changed the game for the entire industry. The problem with that is that now Now, MCL is not the only cruise line that does this. Essentially, every cruise line has some type of freestyle cruising aspect to them. I would argue most, if not all of them, do this now. So what does NCL have that give them that spark that makes them truly unique? I would argue, aside from some of their beautiful ships, I do love the Breakaway class. The Leonardo or Prima class isn't exactly my favorite. However, I will be sailing on board the Norwegian Viva over in Europe in August, and well, I'm excited. Being honest here, looking at Norwegian as a former crew member, I don't have a lot of love for NCL. I would argue that when it comes to the mainstream lines and the big three, that of course being Carnival, Norwegian, and Royal Caribbean, they emphasize more than any other line that the guests always come first. Now, this may not be necessarily such a bad thing. However, when I worked for Norwegian, and from what I saw in the Norwegian Joy, which most of the crew there were telling me they don't even get guest privileges, all of that has been stripped away, whether they are entertainment or even in a high-ranking position. I thought was wrong since the COVID era has, well, been gone and done away with. Of course, many of you know, happy crew, happy ship. There is a weird dynamic that happens on Norwegian cruise ships that I don't really see typically on any other ship. As many of you know, I do sail quite a bit, 20 to 30 cruises per year, and I have a lot of friends that are crew with just about every single line. And I have friends, I was just sailing on board the Resilient Lady with Virgin Voyages. I have friends that have made the switch from Norwegian over to Virgin, and they tell me they are so much happier. There was a girl I met on the Prima last year. She was literally holding back tears because how happy she was that she made the transition. Of course, now you have Virgin because they have the best quality of life for the crew, and they are being accused of poaching other crew members. I don't want to get into that. Maybe we'll talk about that another day. But looking at Norwegian as a consumer, Norwegian is only good, in my personal opinion, if you have the money to stay in the Haven and not sail in the Haven suite on board the Prima. You're going to be right next to that gigantic water slide and all that. But I would say if you're going to do the free at sea package, where that includes, like, they give you a free excursion, they give you all of your drinks included. I think they have one of the best drink packages out there, and so many other little giblets that are going to make your experience better. Without that free at sea package, however, in my opinion, I don't believe NCL is really that good. Now the big question, is NCL falling apart? I know we've kind of, well, just went all over the place here in this video, but personally, I do not think so. NCL is one of the largest in the world, there is no doubt about it, and there is a reason that they have gotten that successful. If they were doing something wrong, then, well, they wouldn't be in the position that they are. However, nevertheless, there is a lot of competition these days. I say the same thing about Carnival. This is why I believe they're stepping their game up and adding new protocols, and the dogs and all the other little giblets that they're putting into their new protocols to keep everybody safe and, of course, have a better experience. I do believe it is absolutely necessary. You got companies like MSC that are coming into the fold with really unbeatable and unmatched prices that are tempting a lot of people over to the dark side of the force. Now, I'm joking. But what I'm saying is, when it comes to NCL, I do believe that they are simply reorganizing. They got a new CEO that have only been there a couple months now, and they're trying to figure out what is going to be the best overall experience for the guests, while also making sure, well, hopefully the crew are also happy, and that all of this goes full circle so that they can continue to be one of the top dogs in the cruise industry and provide the best experience possible while also making profits because, of course, naturally, understandable, this is business, that is their bottom line. Now, for all of you Norwegian fanatics out there, I know you to be a little bit more civil than some of the Carnival fanatics, not the Carnival fans and the people that just like Carnival and Royal Caribbean and the loyal to Royals. But looking at this situation, like I said, there is definitely some changes that are happening with Norwegian. I know a lot of people that have made the switch and gone from Norwegian to Royal, Norwegian to newer Carnival ships, and all of that jazz. But I do want to hear from all of you in the comment section below. Have you sailed with NCL, Norwegian Cruise Line? If you did, what was your experience? Are you exclusively loyal to Norwegian? Let me know in the comment section below. Of course, hit that like button on your way out, guys. I'd greatly appreciate it. Subscribe if you haven't already. And know, as usual, I love each and every one of you. Now, I got to get the editing, and I got to do some travel plans. I'm heading over to, well, my Patreons know. Make sure you guys go subscribe to my Patreon for as low as $2 a month. You'll get notifications from my whereabouts only there moving forward until I'm at these destinations. And, well, just know I have some more adventures coming. I appreciate you guys, and I'll see you later. Take it easy.